Hi, my name's Duncan and I'm a renewable energy engineer living and working in Edinburgh. It might not be very obvious what my job actually involves from the title, so I'm going to explain what I do in a little more detail. So for a bit of background to the job, a lot of the electricity, heat and fuel for cars that we use nowadays comes from oil and gas, which has worked really well for a long time, but eventually we'll run out of oil and gas, and it's also pretty bad for the environment. So we need to find ways of getting this energy from other sources like the wind, the sun, rivers and the sea, for example. So this is renewable energy, which I'm sure you've all probably heard about before. It's a way of making electricity or heat from the environment, which we will be able to keep on doing forever, and the energy source will never run out. There's a lot of work to be done to get to the point where we can run the world completely from renewable energy, and there's not just one answer to the problem. Every country, every building has a different technology that works best for them depending on the environment around them and what they have available. So this is where my job comes in. I work for a small company called Localgen that specializes in helping people figure out which system would work best for them and then building it for them. We cover most types of renewable technology, so wind turbines, solar panels, hydroelectric schemes, heat pumps and a few more. So for example, a company might come to us and ask us to put in a renewable energy scheme for their building. The first part of my job would be to figure out how much electricity and heat energy the building needs. Sometimes there's information on that available which can help, and sometimes you need to calculate that from scratch. Then when we know how much energy the building needs, we can start to look at the different kinds of technology that would work for the building. So some buildings have lots of room for solar panels on the roof, some don't. Some buildings are out in the countryside, so you can put up a wind turbine, but you can't do that in the middle of the city. So when we do figure out the best technology for the building, we can then design a system that will produce the energy the building needs, or as much of it as we can. Then we manage the building of the system. So we order all the different parts and manage a team of people who will actually go to the site and put it all together. I like all the parts of my job, but I think this is the best bit because you get to see all the work that you've done get built in front of you. Now, of course, I don't do all this by myself. I work as part of a team, which is great fun. And usually we're all working in an office together, but since lockdown began, we've all been working from home mostly. My daily work is quite varied. I might be running calculations for energy demands, or I might be holding meetings with the client to find out what they want or need, and I might be doing some drawings on the computer with the details of the energy system on it. Quite often though, we need to visit the site if we're working on a project, so I do need to travel around the country a bit for various reasons. So for example, I've been to look at fields where we're going to put up a wind turbine. I've been to some of the islands on the west coast to size up heating systems for villages there, and I've even been to a cheese factory to figure out how much energy they're using. It was hard to imagine doing all this stuff before I started my job though. I've learned a lot from everyone on the team and made quite a few mistakes along the way. There's always mistakes made in engineering, and I think if I could give my younger self some advice about my job, I would say don't be afraid to ask questions about things, even if you think it sounds stupid, because that's the best way to learn. And if you're unsure about something, it's quite likely that someone else is unsure as well, or it might be something that has been overlooked by everyone on the team. So overall, I think renewable energy is a great industry to be in, and I would encourage anyone who's interested in it to look into it in more detail. There's going to be lots of jobs in renewables in the future, and it's a very interesting and rewarding career. So that's all from me, but thanks for listening.